Then Winstrike's tournament life is on the line again. They have been here so many times already. Twice in the group stages they had to win games to survive and stay at the International 2018. They then had to win a best of one against Nivi, and here they find themselves one down against VGJ Storm, who had a fabulous group stage, it has to be said. When they went through that groups, you suddenly thought, whoa, hold on, we've got a new challenger. As the introduction says at the start of the day, will it be two teams or will it be a new challenger? I thought this might have been it.
Could still be it. I mean, they definitely are capable of winning. They won a major before, but second in the major, won a minor.
Yeah, won a minor.
They definitely have what it takes to beat the top teams. It's just how consistent they are in getting there. So we will have to see how mentally strong they are, because honestly, TI, the further down the line it gets, the more it is just about mentality.
Yeah.
How would you deal with it?
I was kind of quiet after that statement because I'm not sold yet on VGJ Storm. Yeah. Even the minor they won, they didn't have to beat EG or Secret to win it. They kind of had the path cleared for them by King Gaming at the time. The major just didn't feel like they played really well there.
Finished second.
Finished second,
yeah.
Absolutely. Not to take anything away, but it was towards the end of the season. There was a few top teams not there. I think it was Liquid who didn't play it, as well as VP also weren't there. Yeah. So I don't think they've shown the ability to break into that top 3 yet in a really true top tier tournament.
Do you subscribe to the idea as the first couple of picks come out, you can see them there? It's the Weaver on the Drow side this time.
Well, it's scrap or reset, ban Mirana, take care of Drow, nope.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, right? I was like, okay, if you ban the Mirana, like, I think you want the Weaver on your side. Even though you may not like Drow Ranger versus Weaver, you don't want to give them Drow Weaver combo, because I think those are the two heroes that work best with Drow Ranger.
Yeah, and they've shown that before. I was just going to make the point, Gods.
5
they
seconds
were one
remaining.
of the few teams that carried on playing after the DPC season finished, and that was a good 2 months gap as well. Do you feel like some of their early form in the group stages can be attributed to the fact that they were one of the more hardcore practicing teams?
Yeah, I think that really long-term practice is good and bad. A lot of teams say, like, look, if we boot camp for too long, you know, you get tired of each other. You're in like a small enclosed space, spending too much time together. So most teams take a break, then do like a couple weeks boot camp. So it can definitely go both ways.
Tiny second pick.
Yeah, so the difference here, I mean, with the Drow pick is very much, it's not the Drow Mirana, it's not the scariest hero to partner with the Drow, and also you have 4 counter picks instead of just 3, and they don't get to do some bans.
Yeah. Obviously the Tiny, honestly Tiny against Weaver goes both ways. If the bugs on you, you feel very uncomfortable, you can't really kill them, but at the same time you can just jump him and burst him from full health pretty much.
Yeah, and you're going to have Silencer as well, who can really help you hunt down Weavers thanks to Global Silence.
That's assuming this is a core Tiny.
Yeah, position 4.
However, they have played as a position 4 MSS hero in this tournament. Haven't played anywhere else.
Ooh, the Tiny?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's on Winstrike.
Oh, it's on Winstrike, yeah. My bad.
So they played as core only, right? I don't think No Fear really plays that hero.
And this is why VGJ Storm, like, they pick up this Drow Ranger, and it feels so much stronger on them than any other team because of the fact they can run it mid. So this can be a offlane Weaver, this can be a safe lane Weaver, and they can actually pick up like a Furion or something like that in the offlane. There's just a lot of flexibility still for VGJ Storm to counter whatever Winstrike tries to go here. Now, I feel like Winstrike, one of their things they always try and do is be able to get some really strong challenge heroes that could just run at things and go kill them. I felt like it was their attempt with the Lycan. They tried to do that in the group stage as well, and it went okay for them. I think they were actually 100% win rate with Lycan going into that last game. Tiny and Ursa are like the 2 heroes that I kind of always point out for this meta.
Yeah, they were 2-0 with Lycan. I didn't think it was a bad pick by any means. It would have been a lot more successful as a 10th pick. But even that last game with, I would say, a different hero in the mid lane, it could have been a lot more winnable for them.
Yeah, just to recap on what I was saying earlier about the Tiny, obviously got to run the wrong way. Winstrike were 5 matches in the group stages with Tiny.
All on core,
only won once.
10 seconds remaining.
With Iceberg.
Okay.
Yeah.
All on Iceberg?
Yeah.
Well, so it might be a lot with Tiny then already, if they didn't play that any other
yeah, we've seen it play position 4. So it's not like they can't...
It's just I haven't seen them do it.
Sure, but it's No Fear. Is there a hero he hasn't played ever in his life?
That's true. He's got a pretty big hero pool.
Yeah, he pretty much just plays everything. But the pickup of Ogre against Tiny, very good. Can't really burst him down. One of the only supports you can't burst, actually. Yeah.
Good game. Bloodlust, you've got high physical damage. Easy Roche.
Oh, he's clapping, yep. Of course.
Time.
Now we need Earthshaker to be picked up just so
By Winstrike. Yeah, to counter the collapse.
There are still like 4 really big 4-position team fighters left for VGJ Storm. Like Dark Willow, Phoenix, Wyvern are 3 of the ones coming into the top of my head. And I think those are kind of always necessary when you run these sort of lineups, right?
Yeah. You definitely want to have one of them.
Well done, crowd. Well done. Got the
Yeah,
time
fighting
to do it well
engineers
there.
will be good at it. Everyone wants to speed up the clapping.
Yeah.
Is the problem.
All right, Venge on the other side.
They
A
should do
very
that.
popular pick.
Yeah, I'm surprised we're not seeing VGJ pick this alongside the Drow strat, which just seems like the common go-to support when you have a Drow or a Weaver, amp up physical damage, kill Rogue, you have a save, but they seem to prefer these tankier supports like the Ogre.
Right.
10 seconds remaining.
How cool would it be if Ogre on the stage could bloodlust himself
5
and
seconds
starts fucking
remaining.
fast? And it goes like on and off to keep the crowd on their toes, you know?
Production, can you hook that up for Buck? Yeah. All his mad ideas.
It's like the mad scientist of the panel.
I got a couple of ideas I would like to implement, but not allowed to talk about that here.
You've already got some catch thanks to the swap of the Vengeful Spirit and then the Tiny. You probably still want another hero that just gives you like good burst damage versus the Weaver and strong initiation.
Yeah. Interesting, the Venge will be most likely a 4 position too.
Yeah. Unless you run a core, Silence is one of the only players that actually ran it as core successfully before. Of course, they're going to the Phoenix, one of the position 4s we spoke about.
You don't like it versus Silencer, but you really like it versus Tiny, right? A hero that already has slow attack speed and then also is high HP, so your Sunray is very effective against him.
Yep. Very good.
See something that can kill the egg here, or at least
10
be like a
seconds
decent.
remaining.
But we've seen Troll, we've seen Lina. Those are probably the 2 best.
5 seconds remaining.
Mind Ursa, of course.
You know, it's kind of crazy. I would love it if they actually made Vengeful Spirit Core and they got like a different 4-position team fighter, like Wyvern. Like
I would really like that too.
Because I feel like there's just something that's going to be lacking between these 2 supports. Vengeful Spirit Silencer just like isn't quite enough for me.
Radiant team ban.
Yeah, go for Troll, yeah.
That'll be the answer to the egg.
Troll is quite good against Drow too. If you get up to the 2-3 items, you get like a Blink Dagger, BKB, you can just jump on him and he can't really do anything about you. He can't man fight you. You can't really run away because you slow him. And right now, what's really good, none of the heroes can actually man fight a Troll. If that's the case, then Troll is gonna be
10
the king
seconds
on the map eventually, and that's where he really wants to be.
5 seconds
He's also
remaining.
got some underrated synergy with the Tiny, the ulti. Like, helps Tiny out a lot with the extra attack speed.
I mean, just Troll in general, right? Even the support Silencer right now, if Troll ults, he can solo kill that egg. It's like just the hard counter that everybody always speaks about.
DK was again banned by Winstrike in that second phase whenever the Drow Ranger lineup comes up. Furion, which would give Winstrike really good split pushing opportunities, and it's a pretty good laner as well.
10 seconds remaining.
What? Are they gonna put the Tiny off
5
lane
seconds remaining.
or mid? Probably mid.
I think they'll
Dire
give
team's
Nongrata
turn
a
to
more playmaking hero.
What about Clockwork? He likes that. It's good against Drow.
I'm not quite feeling it. For me, it's just like not quite good enough against Weaver, against Phoenix.
It's
and
not
stuff.
terribly
Even
good.
the lane Clock Venge just doesn't sound like there's great synergy or anything.
Yeah,
Profit would be great because then you have the wave. So this 4-position Venge is often just spamming the second spell, the
10
Wave of Terror,
seconds
and
remaining.
then the Nature's Prophet right click. Very powerful. So like a Wind
5
Ranger does something
seconds
similar,
remaining.
but that's also not really a great 3 position.
well, it could work. Windranger can occasionally just like go off and carry a game by herself.
All right, Cap, you're a big Pango player. This feels like a Pango spot. Can he play it? Maybe not against the Drow Silence, I don't know.
It's always hard against those Drow Ranger
Yeah.
lineups, right? Because they put so much pressure on you just because of your poor stats. You need a really strong support with you, and you don't have that from Winstrike, right? Like, you don't actually have that strong lane winner against the Drow lineup anyway. If you had, like, Wyvern or something, that maybe it would work.
Grata. MVP on the Clockwork.
Radiant team's turn
This
to
game is
pick.
going to be MVP on.
Centaur instead.
Ooh, really good against Drow Ranger too. And Pete.
Yeah, it gives you both, like, the gap close as well as the treating power when the supernova goes off and it's not a fight you can actually win, then you can reset off of the Stampede.
And could go Crimson Guard first this game because he has a tiny toss him on the enemy, if you want to do that. Because Crimson Guard really counters draw
10
lineups
seconds remaining.
if they want to go that route.
And again, VGJ Storm
5
have so many
seconds
options
remaining.
because of the fact that they can move this Weaver and Trail Ranger wherever they want.
Their lanes are completely open right now. Could be carry Weaver, could even be mid Weaver, has been seen a lot. Offlane Weaver.
The one problem I see is Winstrike still do not have any lane shove, and so they have to be able to outfight VGJ Storm early, which is unlikely because VGJ Storm's probably going to be winning the lanes here with their setup, and they're going to go into this sort of like 5-man push. Like that's why VGJ Storm was afraid of the Furion, right? And Winstrike again do not have any of those answers out of all 5 of those heroes.
Storm themselves also aren't really looking to push lanes. Like look at their heroes, they had that problem. Unless they fix that here.
Choose your hero.
So,
Okay.
3 melee cores.
Oh, the Venom mid likely against the Tiny.
Yeah. The counter on lane, of course. But they're not too afraid of him because they have Stampede. Like the slow doesn't really affect them. So they can still get on top of them quite effectively.
Okay, thank you, boys. Let's quickly, before we get into the game, catch up with someone very important, actually, on the VGJ Storm side of the management stuff. Jack is with Casey.
Hello, Jack. So I think people might be a little surprised to see you out here.
Yeah, me too. It's kind of something we just decided on last night. So just a spur of the moment thing. I mean, sometimes what you need more than strategic guidance is maybe a boost of morale. So that's why we went with this.
So how was the morale in the booth just now, and how does that compare to how it was in game 1?
Pretty good, nice and loose. You know, for a couple of months we kind of toiled together in a basement in Brooklyn, and this is going right back to that in some way.
How do you feel your drafts went?
Pretty good, pretty good. I think we got most of what we wanted. Maybe we have a hard time starting fights a little bit, but every draft has its strengths and weaknesses. I think we're in good shape.
Looking forward to watching it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Coach Jack, everybody.
Very good indeed, yes. Jack and his team ready for game number 2. I tell you, the 2 other gents are ready for game number 2. It is Lyrical and Trent Packs, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Paul and Trent. I've played a lot of games with Jack. I don't know if he gave me the mental strength I needed, but his team certainly was able to field in that last one. It was a stomp. It was amazing. They did a hell of a job.
Yeah, we kicked him off the panels, but he found a way onto this main stage. He's like, I guess you guys just don't get a coach today.
Mind here, you had Silent playing on this Troll Warlord. This was the answer that OG used yesterday when they took down VGJ Storm. So we'll see if it's going to be a similar outcome to what we saw last time. The big difference is in this game, there's a Centaur.
Yeah, some maybe not the most common global synergy that you think of, but you look at this, I mean, we got global silence, we got ourselves the global stampede, we got ourselves the battle trance. So
Who could turn away from this
no matter
battle?
where you are on the map, maybe one of your allies can help you out, try and take down that egg, or we saw the bans on the Nature's Prophet, on the Lycan, and on the Spectre, 3 heroes that can magically appear right next to your draft, seemingly out of nowhere. So ban out all of those, and we're just going to use the Stampede to try and bring our entire team on top of her.
30
That definitely
seconds
seemed to be a pretty
battle.
big problem for them in the previous match. Rezo just having free reign in those fights because of the space provided from snaking.
We're going to see if they're going to be able to make that extra bit of... This time around, it looks like he does not have the mid build. Instead, it's going to be Duar playing that on the Venomancer. Very solid pickup there. Another one of those heroes that's so hard to deal with. I mean, the panel talked about a good answer later on being Stampede, but in the laning stage, you know, this could potentially be an issue with the Tiny. Is already the Gale thrown that onto No Fear, and look at the damage already early and often. VGJ, oh, the deny, not Grana, punishes the Greek.
No first blood quite yet, but they will scare themselves. So great play from Non-Grata, but good pressure going in there. No Fear. What, really not going to tip Non-Grata? What is that?
I don't know. Apparently they're feeling good about silence.
They're trying to motivate him. They're like, dude, I know last game, that Lycan, it was a bit tough, but this one's for you. So we'll see if the Troll Warlord goes a little bit better for him. His lane already looks pretty irritating with that Phoenix and the Wyvern, but in terms of irritating lanes, Venomancer's got to be the top of that list.
Absolutely, and they're going to move in already from the get-go. Iceberg able to secure that one in spite of the glyph that came out. It's going to be taking the punches early and often. items. Top lane, snaking, always want to fly again on that silencer. Last game it was really tough for him. Do you think that this lane is any easier?
No, there's a lot of mobility from a Phoenix. You can get right on top of that silencer. Any misstep, slight out of position for him, and a Weaver's there, plenty of damage, and a Troll, not a whole lot he can do to help. He can try and get the blind over, maybe that'll be it, but I'm expecting deaths in double digits once more if this game starts to look a little bit scary for Winstrike.
See up there in the top lane, snaking, just falling, very low HP. Pressure coming from the dual melee there, as SVG also taking a beating, and they're trying to pressure in here.
Yeah.
Grada. Big buff that he's been continually receiving is just so much strength on this hero. 807 at the early level 1, now level to level 2, and no stat items either.
Yeah, but likewise for VGJ Storm, they got the big beefy boy, the Ogre Magi. And SVG, if your HP's a little bit low, you're trying to tank it up for the team, but
He's gonna go down. Grada finds the kill. Big plays so far out of the offlaner.
not the way you want to be tanking them.
And I think that, you know, a lot of times early on when you see that Centaur, you don't anticipate like an early point return, but he's going all out aggressive, which is something they're gonna have to be pretty well prepared for. Magical damage early, even though that Ogre has an impressive 8 armor. And here we're gonna take another look again at Grada, just waiting for his timing, and a little bit too late with the right click from Rezo.
Seemed like they were trying to sync it up there just in case. No, there's the appreciating. Yep, got him.
He gave a little wave to Resolution on the other side. That's nice. Can appreciate that.
Oh, MSS with the tricky creep pull up top there. No support to deal with it without the Bane. Silencer can't do much, but on the bottom lane, you can see here plenty of damage, and Grada wants the revenge.
The Fire Blast as well. The punch is coming through, and they're going to find him. SVG also with an early aggressive build, and Resolution taking 2 of the Frost Arrows.
Denied.
And looks like SVG also going to be here to stack that camp too, so give us some options in terms of pulls, as well as some extra gold and experience there in the lane.
If you were wondering where the creep wave is, it's back here behind the tower. This is one of the things that we anticipated starting to happen more and more often nowadays, but doing the right thing, Silent gonna also be able to pull his creep wave back behind the tower, and we'll be able to deny out a wave.
Yeah, we're set to be a decent option. It's still not going to land in the best spot overall here, it doesn't look like, for Winstrike, but MSS trying to play around with this camp here, and you can see Always One Flyer is going to deny it by just pulling it so that they can't get that lane.
Now, No Fear trying to run away from it, throw out the wave of terror onto the creeps. SVG still chasing. Do some damage here to No Fear as the chase right out of the lane.
Yeah, you can see there with the vision though, just how well he's playing around those trees. Impossible to keep up with them. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it's a bit of an edge here for our Tiny, about half a level now. 22 and 5 is just the 13 last hits, but that is kind of what you'd expect in that matchup. Tiny, if there's no rotations, you can play relatively safe. It's kind of like a slow whittle down early on from the Venomancer. But once those levels start to occur for the Veno, it goes dangerous both ways. He has to play cautiously from that instant burst potential from the Tiny, but Tiny has to respect that ultimate cover.
Lots of kill potential there for sure. Obviously one overstep and it could curtains. Grada gonna walk forward, make a little bit of space for No Fear. SVG just still being a big bruise in Ogre. Do have the hoof stomp after the fact. They have the double edge, lots of damage into the Ogre. They're gonna throw back the Fire Blast. Resolution taking some damage from this return as well. Looks like VGJ Storm gonna walk away for the moment. No Fear did have a magic missile to back up, but
Rezo, very nice dodge there. Pops over to the eastern side of the tree line, knowing that when he wants to that Sal, No Fear was going to try and cancel with the Wave of Terror, but he won't find it.
so far so good for Winstrike. Like, look at the laning stage. They're at double digits in terms of CS.
1K net worth gold lead to boot. Cool. So we can stack in the small camp there, so a little bit of opportunities for pulls, and 3 out of the 4 bounty runs.
War here going for a very aggressive build on this Venomancer, hoping to make up for the fact that he does not have the edge in CS. 3 points in Gale early, and Iceberg, as you can see, just taking a lot of damage from this. Does still have the bottle, but end up heading over to the shrine and heal back up.
Well, I needed about 1 more tick there, but he did the math.
While Silent slows down Snaking. He doesn't have Scucci.
MSS is level 2. He's in trouble. Oh, that avalanche.
Iceberg with the rotation, almost able to find him. He's going to drop an egg behind. Yeah, 1-1, relatively slow start to this game. The 1,000 gold lead just about 6 minutes in.
I think one advantage they have for themselves too for Winstrike is that they should be the ones with the first rotations. They can use the global stampede just to help them out in any of these lanes. They see some slight edge, or maybe they're in a bit of trouble from a push. They can instantly escape or advance on their opponent. Whereas the Radiant, it's a lot more relaxed. Kind of a slower build-up for that Weaver. Always want to fly though. There's that little bit of a out of position here, and dodges the bugs. Maybe it'll be enough.
Beating on Dire's
There's
top
going to be the
tower.
dive forward.
I don't know.
Feeling the damage. Fire Spirit's out as well. He's taking the deeps and is going to fall the last tick there as well as MSS. He's going to be punished for the green. That one hurts. He used the TP mid lane. They also found themselves the Venomancer. You are. He's going to pop the Fairy Fire, runs away, drops the Plague Ward as well. They're chasing this guy down. Are they going to be able to kill him? He can pick up a tree in a second and throw up with the magic missiles there. And no fear, secures it.
Iceberg just instantly wants to get home, get his treads, bottle on up here, and get right back to pressuring. And we'll give it a little bit of space to No Fear.
So talk to me a little bit about Centaur too, because this is a hero we haven't seen all that often nowadays. Going for this Vanguard first build, what do you think really attracted them to this pick in this game?
I think it's a bit difficult to play super aggressive in a lane with an Ogre Magi, unless they're really weak. Overall, you're kind of like a better bully, to protect yourself, you know? I don't think they have a lot of good opportunities to just run at this Centaur, because there's, as you've seen, plenty of damage output where he can just return that instantaneously with the double edge. So they saw a lane where you can survive, which has been the major concern for the Centaur. Paired him up with somebody just to help it out in the Venge, and now Venge is rotating around here trying to give some levels, and that's why we want that global global stampede.
So that's just going to run away there. The dive, you mentioned his levels. It's been a tough time so far for this Phoenix. Only level 3 right now, and the lowest in the game. Silent going to make his way up towards the top. Start putting the herd into snaking here. Does have level 6, but has not opted to take the battle trance yet.
And a wave cut down bottom from Non-Grata, trying to get himself into level 6.
Top lane. Okay, they just got the kill on the snaking.
Looked like he was going to be safe there. I thought he would just retreat, but went back in, it seems. And they try and fight for the rune on top, but it won't be there.
And you are running away. They pop the CMP just to get Iceberg out of trouble. So many slows.
But also close in with No Fear.
If they can get the position, throws out the Wave of Terror, the Magic Missile. There's going to be the punch. They're able to find one kill and a second. No, neutral. And Iceberg also, they're trying to go. They were just trying to go through. They get the neutral deny again. What in God's name?
It's those Prowler shamans, man.
I mean, with the deny and everything else that's going on in this game, we need to have heroes actually kill heroes. A huge win for VGJ Storm when all is said and done.
Yeah, and who's left all alone in the bottom lane? It's Rezo on the Drow Ranger. Up into level 7 now. Couple points in Frost Arrows just for safety's sake, and then he's going to start building that precision aura. And you look at snaking, this just seems like a great game for a Weaver. Non-Grad didn't have that same help, but it should be easier to get to the early aggression. And so they want to punish this and see if they can find something on the Drow.
No Stampede.
They have that ward, spotting out the fact that MS is there. He might be sacrificed.
Non-Grata, I mean, they're going for the long wraparound. A
This
couple on
classic
one
counter
side.
to the Phoenix.
Oh, Resolution being chased. They are going to see MSS, but it doesn't look like they're getting either. In the meantime, Silent just running away to the
MSS
side.
is spotted here.
Yeah, they spot him out. There's going to be the kill. So eventually, they do get the punishment. The first in the hands of Always Want to Fly. And top lane, Silent also ran at. Has the bugs on him, has the ignite there as well. They're trying to kill off the bug. The magic missile returns. Silent takes the kill.
Overlord players, they know sometimes you just gotta go for it. Understand the fact that your only chance is the Basher's there, and without one, it just might have enough time for Snake to get the kill. So, Iceberg, he can appreciate that.
About that 10-minute mark, that might secure themselves a rune. No Fear still being in the area, and they do have the Fire Blast. They've already used that. The turnaround and Ogre picking up the bounty rune in time. Hope Fear had it.
So he couldn't quite get the right timing there. So. Silent being so low, though, means that he can't really join in the mid lane with all this pressure on the Venomancer. It seems like there won't be any other Radiant heroes here, though, so they're not going to push this too much further. Said it will be the top lane, though, so they are still abusing the fact that they know he's low.
Yeah,
Like
good decision here, VGJ Storm, but the glyph will come out now, as Uar is going to keep the pressure on towards mid. This is the irritating thing when playing against the Venomancer. You get to this stage where you just have so many wards thrown down, and not a lot of heroes that can really deal with it. I mean, when you look at this lineup, it supports some kind of troll.
And now MSS is given all this space in the bottom lane because Rezo's rotating through the jungle, so this is going to try to get the Phoenix into level 6. They already have level 6 on the Ogre in just a moment here. He's just sitting in the tree line waiting for the catapult. And after this wave, they're likely to dive here. They have some aggressive vision. They brought up the Drow Ranger. This one is going to be secured.
And mid lane, you also
Dyer's
see
just
that they're
denied their middle
going to be able to
tower.
find an eye on the tower. As Resolution, they run into him. The Gust is out. They have the Global Sounds to try and save themselves with Silent running away. And Swarm is going to be
Dyer's
used. The
top
Bugs
tower
no
is
TPs. They've got vision, nowhere to go. And Silent finally, possibly going to be punished. He's going to see if he can buy a bash, but no such luck.
Looks like we'll be able to buy out there
Dyer's middle
on the
tower
Mask
isn't
of
going to
Madness.
last long.
So ISO loses that.
I mean, it's nice being able to get the deny on the tower from Iceberg. And always want to fly again found. This is level 9 Venomancer. UR has been having himself a hell of a series so far.
Yeah, and this Veno pick is essentially going to be saving this, or serving the same role that we had from our Underlord. Is just interference during the engagements, and you can see, wow, that career is loaded here.
A heck of a lot. I mean, again, like, the itemization is the thing that I find particularly cool from the Venomancer, right? Like, how often do you see a mid laner buy an urn, but he knows that this is, like, the sustain that he needs for his team, and get that ball rolling.
And SVG is way too busy in his life to afford something like that.
Are those cracks
Of course,
in
maybe you
Dyer's
should tell
top
MSS, because
tower?
he's got the same thing on the mind.
See
It
no
happens.
Weaver.
Well, 7-6, 12 minutes in.
Dyer's top tower is under attack.
Rada looking for that Blink Dagger next afterwards. Snake King. Under cover of that invis. He spots out all of Winstrike in the area, and so they're going to actually think about going in here and see if they can find themselves one to swap away on the Iceberg, keeping him alive for the moment, but that means No Fear is in trouble. And eventually going to be brought down. The Stampede comes out. They also have the control, and Silent trying to chase forward. See if he can take down UR. This will be a big kill for them. They do manage to kill him off. 400 golds into the coffer of Silent, but
Snake King, he wants to go with this Drow Aura.
and there's going to be the Fire Blast out to start this one out onto Nagrada. He's just so tanky and hard to take down, though.
Such a excellent game, really, for a Silencer. If you always want to fly and stay alive, he's so irritating to these heroes. Like, the Weaver or the Phoenix both heavily punished from that last word. Same with the Arcane Curse. You're a Weaver, you can't just keep scooching over and over. No, SVG, though, he
he's
can walk
on a
on up
fly.
here with that vision.
He gets the multicast and blows him up. Iceberg also to be a little bit careful here. They've just got so much damage that they can throw out once that minus armor is
Dyer's
on them.
bottom tower is being chipped away.
And that whole time, they're playing very aggressively up here without that Phoenix. And MSS was farming the bottom lane, rotating through the jungle. He's now up to almost
Dyer's
level
bottom
8.
tower is under attack.
This is to be a pretty farmed Phoenix. See already ahead of all the other supports in the game. The whole
Are
time,
those
you
cracks
can
in
kind of
Dyer's
freely
top
split
tower?
push through the mid lane while they're keeping the concerted effort top lane to take down that tier 2 tower. Winstrike, in the meantime, going to look to get a trade
They're
for themselves as
beating
they
on Dyer's
pressure
top
through the
tower.
bottom. See if they can get that tier 1.
Curious to see if Iceberg actually
Dyer's
goes
top
for the
tower
Blink
has
Dagger or the
fallen.
Shadow Blade. It's gonna be a tough game if he's scouted up by any of those Veno wards. And it's also like, who are you gonna be focusing down with your Blink? You want to try and go with Drow Ranger, of course, but the Weaver we've seen to be an excellent answer if you can find him too, and just see it being difficult. Let me spot it out now.
A lot of damage there as they find the global to make sure that Iceberg gets away.
It's costly though, just for a single life. And that's going to allow VGJ Storm to keep pressing forward here through enemy territory. Still another global left to the Stampede, and then one more with the Battle Trance, but
Dyer's middle tower is under
Always
attack.
want to fly. I don't think they're giving up any of those for him. He can die. They're not too concerned about him.
not quite the same priority, unfortunately, for Always Want to Fly.
Pressure on here. I mean, it does kind of feel like they're waiting to
Dyer's
fight
bottom
around that
tower
tiny,
needs some help.
big mobility item, as
Yeah.
he does have that Blink Dagger queued up, and maybe
Ooh,
then you
you
can
are.
start to make a play.
He's got a couple here. He's thinking maybe if they back away, he can get
Dyer's
something going for his
bottom tower
team.
is being
Still
chipped
chases
away.
down, but that's just going to
Dyer's
basically deny
structures
this
are
whole part of the
fortified.
map. Just backing them off. They had plenty of
Radiant's
vision
top
throughout
tower
that
is
top
under
half.
attack.
So VGJ
Dyer's
Storm
bottom
understand the
tower
movement
is
that
under
Winstrike are
attack.
going for. No, there's no real pressure.
And
Radiant's
it is
top
only a
tower
1,000 gold
has
lead.
looked
I
better.
mean, Winstrike is definitely remaining in this one and
Dyer's bottom
competitive. You
tower
can see
has
Dota
fallen.
Plus thinking that they're in the slight lead on VGJ Storm. The big question mark is, what do you do with this Blink Dagger on Tiny? What do you do with the initiation that they're trying to find? A Blink Dagger also coming on that Centaur and completed.
Feels reminiscent of the Mushi game yesterday on the Necrophos, where like the game looked really hard, but somehow he just kept performing like the utmost that you can expect from someone on that Necrophos with constant sights, always getting the correct hero, and that's the same kind of role you're going to need out of Iceberg. And he has gone big on this hero before. It's one of his most standout heroes of all time. He loves Tiny. So I can understand why you want it in an elimination game on the TI main stage.
TP in there a little bit unlucky as they ran into the swarm, and that meant that they couldn't go for a blink initiation. Because of that, again, they back out. Bottom tower goes down, not able to get the deny. And they are just losing towers left and right.
Winstrike, they have to find something soon. Tournament lives on the line here, and now it's Roche. This is feeling a lot like last game.
Kind of one after the other, the objectives fall, and sort of get that anxiety that gets built up in teams as they know that there's a Lumen threat coming. Roche falling now, and the pings are out as they realize this potentially could be where they're coming to. War thinking about dropping out some wards, but it's already gone. And Winstrike, they have to just stampede away. Be in some trouble, they're going to be able to back out of there. And Silent still trying to get into that BKB, a ways away from it.
And these are some of the problems people lament about Troll Warlord. It feels like there's this phase in the game where you're just trying to gather items. You don't really want to fight. Maybe you can try and help your team with a battle trance or something, or show up for 1 or 2 engagements, but overall, you just want to hit creeps.
Scan connects, realize that that Drow Ranger is not alone. So what do you really do at this point?
At this point, it's definitely not a disaster for Winstrike. I mean, it's only a 3K lead. They're getting a little bit of split push going on here. You can see from Silent in the top lane. And you just kind of hope that this Drow Ranger lineup starts to slow down a bit, maybe has some mistakes going high ground, those kind of problems. They're overall relatively squishy on the cores.
Oh man, Nangrata fully surrounded around on now, and they're actually able to go on to No Fear, seeing if they can take him down. They are immediately going to blow him up. The blink away though, keeping one alive. So Sets are living for the moment, even though No Fear dies.
Amateur.
So it just seems like every move, VGJ Storm, they're coming out on top. Even if it's just a little pick off like that, it's all just momentum. It's never the 5-man of Winstrike. It feels like they can never sync up these ultimates, and once more, VGJ Storm are looking to punish that. Stampede will be back in about 8 seconds here, so by the time they engage anyone, they're going to have their full arsenal ready, and maybe they can try and get something going for themselves. They have a sentry.
See him.
Yeah, it's kind of playing cool here. They go in.
Oh, nice play there. The Abatos finds the kill, and that's what you need, at least the beginning of it. And now the Venomous Gale is there and always want to fly. Going to try and TP away. Is it going to happen? No. Winstrike also in some trouble as they're bringing in more.
There is a buyback here with that silence if they can find a good fight.
They're thinking about it at the very least, but they have already used the Stampede. And obviously, Venomancer is so difficult to play around. If you start getting slowed, you're just going to end up dead.
Just take the fact that you did win that engagement, right? You got the kill on the Weaver, more important, brings that lead down a little, just to 3K. And what's the point of taking a fight that both of you are ready for with an Aegis there, right? You don't want to fight in that. Try and let that Aegis expire, dodge away, and see if you can force VGJ Storm into an uncomfortable high ground push, because at the very least, there's no objectives for them to take very safely outside of your high ground.
That is definitely the benefit. They've been doing a good job of keeping that split push going. The uncomfortable thing, as we've mentioned time and again, is that VGJ Storm playing so aggressively have just gotten more farm out of the map, it's felt like. 12 to 8, just about the 20-minute mark, coming close. Again, all it takes is one big team fight with these ultis from Winstrike to start turning the ball around the other way. You are so aggressively into their jungle, and Winstrike have kind of just been segmented onto one whole side of the map.
Yeah, and I think one thing to watch for will definitely be that BKB timing of Silent. If he can get to it relatively soon, like if they start picking him off, obviously it's going to get very difficult. But what is their answer during his BKB? There's not a whole lot. He's going to need probably a bit of help with the lockdown. If someone can try and initiate on top of snaking, that would be a great target to try and get at the start of these fights. And he has to watch out for the eggs somewhat, as his attention has to be focused on it. But overall, he has pretty good freedom to just engage. There's no black hole, there's no fiend grip. Nothing that's a very easy stop on the hero.
They're just a bunch of bullies. They come in here, they push them off the blocks. It is our area.
Yeah. They have to play it like a Bat Rider, like a Storm Spear, where it's like this global silence kind of enables you, you know? Where those heroes, they use the cover of that to try and get one of these big picks to start. And in that sense, they have a crazy amount of burst for Winstrike. Centaur Warrunner, Tiny, Troll Warlord. They can take a hero down in an instant. It's just the question of, can they actually find it?
Yeah, and maybe you look for that Venge level 12 to get into the longer range swap. You can go for a swap global play as Iceberg just going to TP away from Snake King. Basically no way to break that one. And, you know, on the top lane, they're dealing a lot of damage to this year's Centaur with the Sunray as well. They're going to force out the global and also the Stampede. Now thinking about taking this fight, but nobody else is here. They're going to have to blink away. And it's actually Yuar chasing in. Not Broad is stuck around too long. He's going to be able to find the TP away, but they lose the silencer.
Dyer's middle tower isn't going to last
And
long.
VGJ Storm now comfortable.
Looked like a little bit of confusion there for Winstrike. Not sure what to do. They don't want to waste those two ultimates and get nothing out of it. What if they just come high ground right after, which is what they're going to do, but rather than just using it to escape and trying to hold that high ground, they unfortunately lose the silencer as well. So a slow, patient siege here from VGJ Storm with their friend Snake King still cutting waves up top.
And they're still comfortable sort of sitting on this lead for a little bit because you still do have, you know, the KB that's going to be out pretty soon for the Weaver. You don't want to pressure that much. The Aegis is about to expire right now in 5 seconds. So at least for now, they can continue to control the map, you know, and just build up into that next set of items that allows high ground that much easier.
Yeah, get that BKB on the Troll Warlord. That is what Winstrike are hoping for. Try and turn the game around using that.
Storm goes out, spots Iceberg. Not going to be able to find a burst on that Weaver. Again, run away. Looking down here at Yuar. Not the tastiest of targets.
Still so much pressure on Iceberg. He has to find something. He's a 1-1-1 on a Tiny.
This is the strength of Ogre too. Like you see this position 5 just walking around and you can't do anything to him. He's so hard to kill that somebody else is going to show up in time.
On the hunt here. He's going to find Rezo in the mid lane.
Right, an opening possibly as they are going to be able to jump onto Yuar. He throws out the ulti as well, but blown up. Not bad. And No Fear just going to TP away. Can they get this fight though? The Yule Scepter lifts up MSS with the dive. Gets it done, and No Fear going to be punished.
Yeah, quick thinking on that one. And then Silence rushing forward, but he's spotted out by the Venom wards here.
Be careful. Although I think that they see the Weaver in the mid, so they realize that they don't need to worry about him joining in the fight as yet. Also, they don't have the Drow Ranger here, and so this is going to be a big burst on the SVG. Signs of life for Winstrike in this elimination match.
Yeah, this is what they needed. Unfortunately, they couldn't kill Rezo, but obviously still a pretty big win for them. About a 1K gold swinging back their way, and most importantly, gold on the Troll Warlord, who already has his BKB and is now looking to think about completing up an SNY.
I mean, again, great composure shown by Winstrike. You think about last game and how quickly things started to fall apart.
Oh, and Snake King. He was thinking about going for a play here, but wisely backs away, and he'll see that that was a good decision there. With the oh, that's Dark.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
I was realizing that still it's need to get the heck out of there. Even more reason to get out of there. They've done a good job of keeping their vision around their map pretty well closed off inside of Winstrike. But yeah, you think about how quickly this game could have spiraled out of control if they just kept finding pickoff after pickoff for VGJ Storm. This feels very different from last game, where now Winstrike have the tools to take an engagement, if it's perfect.
Yeah, everything back up for them. A little bit split right now, but they have a smoke here for No Fear, so they de-ward. With only 3 heroes grouped up, it might have been not have been super obvious they were smoking either.
Global presence, they're moving down here to see if they can run into MSS. He has a Yule Scepter, as well as dive available to him, and just out of range, MSS knew it. He backs out.
Still a pretty hard initiation there with that Yule Scepter.
Again, it feels like it's going to be a battle around this Roche pit, where right now VGJ Storm holding a dominant edge in terms of dimension. Iceberg just jumps in the global silence afterwards. They're going to go with the Stampede, running into everybody. Force Staff jumping away. Iceberg, look at the damage out on them. They blow up MSS. There's no Supernova in this fight. No Fear also dropping low. They get out the ulti from that Venomancer, and Silent chasing forward in the duration of his BKB, but he's slowed down so much he can't get on top of Resolution. Snake King kills off another, and Rezo just calmly walks away. They turn, and they're going to kill Silent.
And back, we have this Weaver absolutely massive with the bloodlust.
Oh, right.
Triple kill.
The triple kill for Snake King. Just doing so much in that fight. With 4 dead, they're going to test them.
Yeah, that big old bug was back there. BKB'd, taking them out on the back lines, and they did not respect the build here. Coming out from Yuar. He has the Spirit Vessel. He's so tanky. Tiny only tickled him. Gets off this massive Nova, and once that happens, the fight feels impossible. Look at that damage from the Venomancer and the Weaver.
It's absolutely insane, and it's an 8,000 gold lead now. Winstrike, they're going to hold their base. It cost them a Centaur buyback, but with that, it does sort of bring up the question of, all right, are they just going to go back and secure Roche? Like, yeah, VGJ Storm and a dominant right now.
At the very least, Roche isn't quite up yet. It's going to be another 50 seconds here. Here's the replay. And you can see they're just still so tanky. I mean, that's where the Global Silence is designed to help get that burst. Iceberg just has a run.
Yeah. And again, you sort of feel like, all right, maybe you blow up this MSS hero at the beginning, it's going to look good. And then everybody hones in on resolution. You just look at them chasing, and they don't have any extra damage.
Yeah, Snake King's just on the back line, the mop and bucket, slowly taking them down one by one.
2-11, 26 minutes in, it's a 10,000 gold lead. Winstrike still looking for an answer. Again, all it takes is that one good fight.
Yeah, unfortunately, the one good fight just went for VGJ Storm.
Radiant's middle tower shouldn't have to take this abuse.
SVG bounce, not bad. There's going to be the pushback. Now Grata runs away.
They have an egg here.
Need to be careful.
They want this.
They're buying back now on the Ogre Magi. VGJ Storm, are you feeling it as they chase for it for non-Grata? He's stunned, but he's going to get the Supernova off Yule Scepter afterwards, and now they're in a terrible position. Silent need to run. They do drop the Supernova, and now Snake King sees always want to fly, is going to die, it looks like, and Silent, oh, the miss uphill. All right, he lives.
Oh, he's not done, though.
He's thinking about it. Don't run into those bugs. Iceberg, though, on the other side. They're just dismantling them. Winstrike needing the buybacks now more than ever. They kept their silencer alive, but they lost their cores. And now the swap back in, actually, no fear, goes down.
I think he knew he was dead anyway. He would just get Yule Step or something, so trying to make a play.
The barracks are being assaulted. VGJ Storm looking like they might be able to take this one unless there's a magical moment from Winstrike, and it needs to start with Iceberg. You ping out you are. It is so hard to find this kill. There isn't vision in the area, but now they see the team's revealed. They've got the ulti. They do throw out the Global Silence, but the damage has been done as Iceberg is going to fall. Always want to fly. Also going to die. Silent trying valiantly to make this work, but it's not happening. And GG is called. VGJ Storm moving on.
A team that looks very composed. Look at this, setting down the headsets very calmly. Jack in the boot, just smooth tones, icing over this game 2 for the squad. Very cool with the secondary draft strat.